Well, let me just first tell you that my name is Lyn Thompson-Gibson. I am a travel advisor. I decided when I retired, I had a forced retirement, I had an illness, that I was going to be a travel advisor. And I was all gung-ho. I started in 2019. And in 2020,
The job went around. Nothing was going on. You couldn't do nothing.
I spent 2020 on the phone refunding everybody's everything. And a lot of people, that's when people first realized they really do need a travel agent. Because all the people who went to Expedia and went to Costco's and went to their mother's girlfriend's friend, they had to do it. Because my clients were with me. That's my job. Any glitches, I'm supposed to handle. And COVID was a really big glitch.
Oh, yeah.
That keeps on.
I had to cancel on trip too.
Yeah, I had one canceled, and then I was going to take a historic train ride in Pennsylvania, and that got canceled.
Everything, everywhere. And then when it started to loosen up, and then it would get canceled again. Or it would, or we can do it, but then you can't have the food, you can't have the entertainment, you're stuck in a rut. I mean, it was, to say the least. But I made it through. I'm on the other side now because I have lots and lots of things booked for this year and for next year. And I'm finally going to get to, I was telling, it's Lita, and you are? Nadine? Carlton. Okay, I have a very good friend named Carlton. I was telling her earlier, I've always wanted to go to Iceland. I know it's not something that is on many people's bucket list, but Iceland has been on mine for years. So now that things have eased up, and right now they're having a little bit of COVID influx right now over there, but they were very good for most of the pandemic. I mean, they were closed like everybody else, but their spikes were a lot lower than ours. And people say, you shouldn't travel. This is not the best time to travel. Well, there are some reasons why it is a good time to travel. Number one, there's not as many people traveling. I have cruises for February, March, June, July, and December of this year that I'm going on. Okay. And then I have people going on those cruises with me. But all the cruise companies currently, as of right now, are operating at 40 to 45%. So if the cruise ship held 3,000 or 4,000, that's a considerable difference. So you're going to get better service. And when ports are closed because of whatever's going on the island, they're going to do something to make up for that. I had people who just cruised last week. They said they kept bringing chocolates because one of the ports was closed, and they brought in entertainment to entertain that particular couple. All they wanted to do was go to the spa anyway, so it didn't really matter to them. But, if a cruise operator or a resort has to modify whatever they promised you, they're going to try to do something to make it up. They really, really are. So don't be too afraid to travel. And you'll have peace of mind, and I will try to save you money. I will tell you, lots of people, not lots of, but many people decide, I want to save $20 because I want to go from Newark Airport because it's $20 or $30. I said, but you're driving an hour and some change to go to Newark Airport. You're right here. I mean, you have to weigh out the balances. I'm sorry if I'm loud. Balances, my former teacher voice, I can't help myself. The balances of what you're doing. Also, the thing with the baggage. I have nothing to say bad against non-large conglomerate airlines. However, if they're going to nickel and dime you for your seat, for your handbag, for your rolling luggage, and and your check luggage, when you add all that up, that's the same $125 if you had just gone with one of the big guys. So really take a look at what it is you're saving. All right. But this is all about me. I do specialize in things for women, but that does not mean, Carlton, I'm leaving men out.
Thank you.
Every woman has a man, even if she is not romantically entitled to that man. She has a man who was a father, a brother, a son, a grandson. Some men are still in our lives, okay? But I do try to take care of the ladies. All right. Okay. Questions you ask before you go on vacation. Why are you going? Is it educational, recreational, or you just nosy? What is it? What is your purpose for going?
All of it.
Okay, and that's good. But there are some people who just want to relax and do nothing. And if I don't know that, I'm offering them, and then you can go here, then you can go there. And they're looking at me like, I just want to be on an island. I mean, I love those clients. I don't have to do anything. Oh, you can go to this island, this island. It's all there. All right. You go on vacation to celebrate a special occasion. Somebody got married. Somebody's graduated from high school or college or something. Or you just got through cancer treatment. Whatever it is, you're celebrating your occasion. And that's a nice way to do it. Okay? It's buying a piece of jewelry is nice. We all love jewelry. But the memory that you're going to have from this vacation is important. Also, I've been doing a lot of things with multi-gen things. A lot of our kids are so busy that they're not doing some of the things that we did with them when they were little. They're not taking them on the trips. But they will take them on a trip if you go, giving them time to still be glued to a computer to work. But you can do some multi-generational things. You can take them on safari. You can take them off. My grandson is 13. He is so mad that he cannot go to Iceland. I said, you're in school? I'm sorry. You're not going to Iceland. But I'm taking him to the Galapagos Islands this summer. So, he's getting his in. He also got me in a Universal this summer. At Christmas time. I did all that up and down and around because his mother wasn't there. It's okay. I told him, I'm done. No more. And then there's luxury ocean cruises and river cruising. I love river cruising. There's also, if you want to enjoy their foodie tours, but I need to know what you're into. If you're into wine, then I want to send you to wine country. There's wine country in the U.S. There's wine country in every country. Wines are big. So are microbreweries now. If you're into beer, I prefer rum. I go to all the rum distilleries. That's my beverage of choice.
I
But
like Captain Morgan's Black Place rum.
I like Jamaican Reserve. I like that one. Appleton Reserve. That's my favorite. But there's also a really good Puerto Rican rum that I haven't had yet, but my girlfriend brought it back from Puerto Rico. She's already drunk half the bottle, so I have to get over there.
Quickly.
Yes. But, and I didn't realize how much Africa and Iceland had in common until I started preparing for this program. They all, both of the continents are filled with rich animals and culture. I was like blown away by how many times that kept coming up as a theme on both of these continents, and they could not be further apart. Okay, because when I was preparing for this, weather, everything wise, and because somebody said, well, "How did you pick that?" I said, "Well, I want to go to Africa and I want to go to Iceland." So I've been to Africa, but I haven't been to East Africa. I haven't been to North Africa. So I want to talk about the things I want to go to and find out if there are other people who want to go to. Or if you would like to go somewhere, if you let me know, I can come back and talk about that. But, and all travel should be doing something for sustainability. I only work with tour operators in country that have a sustainability thing where they're giving back to the country. There's been enough taking away from countries and destroying. So if they're not planting trees, they're giving education programs, they got to do something. Okay, so that's important to me. I just wanted you to know that. So let's get started. Let's see.
When I was in third grade, the nuns that taught us, their order had a mission in Tanzania.
Okay. All
And I
right.
think that's more eastern.
Yes.
Near Kilimanjaro.
Yes. It's maybe it was Tanzania.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Let's see if this.
That was a long time ago.
No, just yesterday. Let's see if we can make the sound.
Lots of tourists come to Iceland during the summer months, not only because the weather is better, but also because they want to experience sleeping under the midnight sun. Every year from the end of February, the days start to grow longer and longer. May, June, and July are the brightest months each year. If the weather is good, it's the best time of year to see the midnight sun. Summer solstice this year in Iceland is the 20th of June. That's when Iceland has the most sunlight hours. Right now the time is 12 a.m. at midnight, but the sun is still up there, and it's really bright, almost like daytime. In Reykjavik, the sun will start to set after midnight, and rise up again before 3 a.m. So the brightness will stay for 24 hours, even though the sun ducks behind the horizon for a little while. The inconvenient thing is that you may have a hard time falling asleep in all that daylight. Those who stay in Iceland for an extended period usually get used to the season shift. But the good thing is, you can take some really good pictures during this time. Starting from the end of August, the length of the days will go back to normal little by little until winter comes.
Yeah. I saw the same thing when I was in Alaska. I went out at 1 o'clock and I took a picture, and I couldn't find it in my phone. I was like, oh, I should get up. I took a picture of this beautiful seaport village that I was staying in, and I went up, did my tours and all of those stuff. I got to ride in a dog sled, the whole thing. And I came back, took a little nap. I got up, and I opened the curtains because you have to close them because it is sunlight all day long. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, I took that same picture because I walked out. I said, nobody's going to believe it. Took that same picture at 2 o'clock, and it's almost identical because it was an overcast day. Now, I think it would have been different if it had been sun, but it was and I didn't stay up another night in the middle of the night to check that. But it is really a breathtaking experience. And if Iceland is anything like Alaska, everything was so lush and green because the sunlight was there so much. And the rivers, all the algae and all the little microorganisms were like bursting. So everything was green and looking really weird and strange. But all the people in Alaska were, oh no, it's like that. It'll be back to normal in a couple months. It's okay. But I can't imagine how beautiful Iceland is. Look at this. The waterfalls. We just like to just be able to sit there and just take in what the Creator has made for us. I mean, you can't see that. You can't experience that. It looks great here. But imagine, the tour drops you off. Okay, you have an hour to walk around or you want to have lunch. That's what I want. I don't want to spend my time just going to the movies. I want to live life. I don't.
I think people go on vacation and think that they should be back here. Like they hang out in the pubs or.
Well, no, but the pubs.
Not that you don't
No.
go, but they live there. They don't do.
Right,
live there.
but doing this and then going back to sit in the pub with the
Right.
folks who see this all the time, and then you get to hear the stories and you get to be involved with them. I can't wait. But nature is also near and dear. I'm a former Girl Scout, so that's not Girl Scout cookies. I can't help myself. But showing nature to people who don't experience or who don't look at all those colors in there. That is, there is no painting that could. I mean, this photographer did an excellent job. I mean, there's depths, you can almost see the water coming down. However, if you're sitting there with that cup of coffee or dealing with your tripod trying to get that picture, okay, somebody else got that picture, I can do it too, because that would be me. But the other thing is wildlife. You can go whale watching and actually see a whale. Because I've been whale watching in Atlantic City, Cape May Whale Watch. I was in Maine, Ann Arbor, Maine. Somewhere else, I've been trying to get to see whales too. They're a little elusive for me. I don't know. So is moose. I have this thing I want to see a moose too. Haven't had it. Haven't seen it yet. And the town that I was staying in, I don't even remember. I think it was Ketchikan, but in Alaska, they had just had last week, the week before I got there, the moose were walking down the main street. You know, it was a herd. I see people. No. So also, these are the puffin fish birds that are well known in Iceland. I want to see a couple of them. Now let's find out what it's like in the winter time.
You can start your first day in Reykjavik, exploring Iceland, the little cafes downtown, and also the church on top of the cliff. The next day you can hit the Golden Circle, which includes which includes the Gate Theatre, Cliff Spot, and Sinclair National Park. And you can also go diving there if you are ready to brave the cold. The same day you can probably also squeeze in Zeeland Spot and Skogga Spot, which are two very beautiful waterfalls that you have to do before you go. Day 3, you can explore Reynisfjara Beach, and the Salon Glacier Lagoon, which is absolutely my highlight. And the Glacier Lagoon. What's yours? You have to go see this place. It's unbelievable. Because you're coming in winter, that means that you get to do 2 extra activities that you can't do in summer, which includes checking out the ice caves. And yes, they look like this. It is worth seeing. If you can't do that, substitute it for the glacier hike. And of course, the number one thing on most people's bucket list, which is the Northern Lights. The lights come first, forget about sleep. Because it can happen that they're out one night and they're not seen for weeks after that. So if the forecast is good, go. And I recommend going and when you're doing this, you have to, by the way, just before you catch a plane. So either the night before you're flying, if you're flying in the morning, or just a few hours before your flight, because it's a perfect way to unwind and relax after a big trip. But do not forget to pre-book online. It's pretty packed out all the time, so book well in advance. If you're here for longer, here are some of my extra suggestions. You can go to Lake Dalur, which is the natural hot springs, about a 45-minute drive outside of Reykjavik and a 1-hour hike uphill. It's a bit of an effort, but it is beautiful. And Quick Circle, which is in the northwest. This one isn't my top suggestion because it's so out of the way, but it's pretty spectacular if you have the luxury of a bit of extra time. And a couple of things to note. It is winter time, so your sunlight is limited. You want to make sure that you get the most out of your day, so rise early, get out as much as you can. And bear in mind that there's a lot of ice everywhere right now, so be super careful. If you're driving and you're walking around inside, it's slippery in a lot of areas. So don't talk to any ledges, especially also the wind. The wind is pretty hectic. I've mentioned a lot of things here. Don't panic if there's way too much for your time constraints. That's fine. Go to the places you're most excited about and take your time there. It's much better than just rushing and taking a quick photo and driving off. Take your time to see if you're excited because it might be the last time you're here. And you need to make sure that you absorb everything.
Yeah. You need to be careful when you're going in the wintertime. I'm telling all myself and potential clients going with me that you need to have special cleats on the bottom of your shoes, and you should have boots. So, you can't be cute. This is not, neither one of these places are cute places, okay? This is not the time for you to wear your latest footwear. You're going to be in mud or muck or ice, so you need to be prepared. You also need to have warm clothing. You need to layer. As a Girl Scout, I was peel it off like an onion, put on layers, and if it get hot, you take it off. But I think I'm just going to be layering on because I'm going to be cold. So if Iceland is on your bucket list, this is the time to buy things on sale so that you'll be ready in November of next year. So REI is my friend, and I've been on Amazon looking up stuff so that I will be prepared. Obviously, if someone is interested, I would send more information about what you need to purchase ahead of time. But I'm going to see these lights. I'm hoping it will not be like the moose, but I'm going to see those lights.
She said something about when you're driving, so you have to rent a car.
No, she is. I looked for snippets for other speakers who've actually been because I haven't been,
Right.
so I can't tell you. But that's if somebody was renting a car. The tour that I am sponsoring, there is no renting a car. You will be on a little minivan. There will be people driving you around. You'll walk some and you'll drive some. No, we're not. But when I go back the next time in the summer months, I may opt to rent a car because I will have been there. I've got to get the lay of the land first. And if I'm sending a couple who wants to go, if they're honeymooning, for example, or retirement mooning, whatever it is, if they want to go and they want to travel and not be with a group, I can arrange that also. I just prefer, I don't like packed groups. Most of the clients that I have are either young professionals or retired, administrators. They've had enough of the rush. They would like a more paced kind of thing. You can do something in the morning, something in the afternoon, and then leave me alone. Or, something in the middle and something late night, but it's not one of the tours where it's 8:30, we've got to get up, and at 10:30 we've already seen 2 museums, and then we got to walk 2 miles, and then we got that.
That's not vacation.
That's too much like work. And I've been on tours like that. And I've been with tour operators. This is way before I was a travel agent. And it was a high school. It was graduating seniors. We went to Paris and Monaco and a couple places in Italy. And there was a festival right across the street from where the museum we had just left. We had an hour to kill. He wanted to drag these young people to look at some monument that was 1.5 miles away. And I'm like, these kids want to go to that. I want to go to that festival. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. I've already sat through a lecture. I've seen the museum. You're going to walk me a 1/2 mile to look at a statue. When there are live things right here where I can interact with Parisians and maybe get some more baguettes and things that I don't need. But he wasn't willing to deviate at all from the set. So I vowed when I became a travel advisor, I would find out what the people wanted and try to give that to them. Because I do deal with some of the larger river cruise organizations or Globus, but I also deal with African Travel, which is a smaller company, which listens to me and gives my people what they want. So that's what I'm going to do. Because I'll give you either or. It's a business. So, but you want to see those lights? And that's the Blue Lagoon on the left that she was talking about. Everybody does go to the Blue Lagoon. It is very crowded. If you go on the trip, your reservations are already made for you. You don't have to do that. But if we go separately, I would also make your reservations in advance. But if you're not into the big commercial, they have those springs smattered throughout Iceland. So if you are an avid hiker and you're able to hike 1.5 miles inland, I can get you a small where you'll be there with you and your significant other or you and your girlfriends. You can get the coffee back there for you or the bottle of wine for me, and we can sit in the glacier, a little pond there and do our thing. So, and this one over here is the geyser thing she was talking about that bubbles up. So, that is Iceland. Any additional questions about Iceland?
That Blue Lagoon, is that
The movie?
I mean, yeah, is that the same thing that it's on the movie? Is that a picture that was with the movie?
The movie is
Did Hollywood
more.
make that up?
No, the Blue Lagoon movie is more of the coastline. That is inland. That's it's not the same place. It's not the same place. But when you type in Blue Lagoon and ask for pictures, they will give you pictures of the Blue Lagoon movie and this.
Mm.
All right, here we go. All right, I was so ambitious. Okay, back in, I don't know, October, when I contacted the center and said, I want to come and tell your folks about some of the things that I have going on. And I want to talk about Africa, and I want to talk about this country in Africa, that country in Africa, and this country in Africa. Well, that didn't happen. Okay, I got overwhelmed. I cannot do as many countries as I thought I could do with any certainty. So we are going to learn about Tanzania, and we are going to learn about North Africa and Egypt. That is what we're going to learn about today. I can come back and talk about other countries, but I have decided 2 countries in Africa is more than enough for any human being to be able to tell you some stuff about it. I mean, because I was crazy. I've got my African travel certification as a travel advisor. You have to take all these classes so you can find out about different areas. But I was like, oh gosh, there's so much. I really messed up. So we're getting just 2. But Africa is made up of all of those countries, all of them. And each one of those countries has something to be desired and something to offer. But Africa also is a hub just like anywhere else. They have coastlines, they have plains, and they have big cities. So Africa is waiting for you. All right, we're going to start in East Africa. Okay, Uganda and Rwanda is where where you have most of your gorillas. And it's the Gorillas in the Mist, if you ever remember that movie from a while ago. That's where those things were taken. Kenya, if you're going to East Africa, more than likely is where you will land when you come in. You will land in Kenya and then take a smaller plane to another country. But most of the major airlines come in to Kenya. I'm going to talk about Tanzania and a sidebar about Zanzibar, because I do have clients going to Zanzibar. She was supposed to celebrate her 60th birthday there. She's now she'll be 62, so we put it off a couple. So in January of 23, she'll be 62, so hopefully she'll get to go this time. But she's got 8 people that just keep moving it and moving it and moving it, so hopefully she'll get to go. Let's move on to the next one.
So when I said Tanganyika, I don't think that was actually a country, like Tanzania is a country.
Okay.
I think maybe a city in it.
Okay, all right, because I'm not familiar with that,
Right.
but
I'm gonna have to look it up as soon as I figure out the spelling.
okay. So well. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's see. But what it was supposed to show you was a okay, was supposed to show you was a hot air balloon ride over the Serengeti, because that is the best way to see the plains animals running all the way. You know, the plains go on for miles and miles and miles. That's what Serengeti means, is vast plains, and that's what it is. People go to Tanzania for the Great Migration. And the Great Migration is not just once a year, it's all throughout the year. So there's different times of year that you can go. The most optimum time that it's not too hot, not too cold, is called the short rainy season, is November. Now, this particular company, and there are vast numbers of companies, but this particular company is going to ensure that if you want the particular kind of accommodations that you want, do you want a lodge house? Do you want a mobile tent? Do you want some of those palatial mansion type things that they had? Or I love the little campsite where they had all the beautiful food that was served for you. I could do that kind of camping. I mean, as a former Girl Scout, that's steps above. I mean, they call it 4.5 style dining, because it's not 5-star, but it definitely is not your typical camp type food. But that's what you do in Tanzania. You go for the highlights, and the highlights are, and I don't have the rest of my notes, and I'm like, I can't believe that I did that this morning too, but I'm going to go off of memory. And you have Kilimanjaro. Many people go for that. Many people go see the lions, the leopards, the buffalo, the giraffe, all of those animals that you saw in the movie, the little movie clip. They go for that. In Tanzania, you can do some city stuff. You can do the different kinds of safaris, and they have safaris that go for 5 days, 16 days. I mean, you can do the gambit. It's up to you how you'd like to tailor that trip. What I like about going to some of the safaris in Zanzibar, in Tanzania, you can do a side trip, because it's only about 20 to 30 miles off coast of Tanzania is Zanzibar, which is a beautiful beach area where you can scuba dive, you can snorkel, crystal clear waters, you can look at the coral reefs, or you can just veg with that book like I was talking about. By that time, after I've done all this, looking at animals, and the photography also in Tanzania and on many of these safaris is top notch in terms of seeing the different kinds of animals. And depending on what you want, if you want to go with a smaller company, they will more than likely go to the privately owned safari parks. And in going to privately owned safari parks, you can go on night drives, which you can't do in a national park. You can go there more than once a day if you wanted to go on 2 drives. So it depends on what you want. Me personally, 1 drive a day would probably do it, but I want all the other things that accompany it. So Tanzania is something that's also going to be on my bucket list. Now we're moving on to Egypt. How many people want to see the pyramids? I do. Have you seen them?
In person?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to see them either?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I would.
You go.
Eventually.
You go. Well, most of them are not open. There's like 1 or 2. Yeah, but you just want to go. Okay. All right. I don't want to have to break you out because end up in jail. But yes, when you think of Egypt, you think of the center of beginning civilizations. You think of all the colossal monuments that we know, the Sphinx, the obelisk, all those things. And I want to see those pyramids too. I would also like to break in with you, but that's for another lecture. But let's walk inside of one and see if this one works.
I think everything that was stealable has been stolen already.
Yeah, right, yeah. That is true. That's a shame. Let's see. He looked like he was tired all that walking he was doing. But that is actually a very misleading, but dramatization of going. Okay, good. That's what I have on here. Um, all of those temples and those monuments are really filled with people. That must have been shot at times when they blocked off people, because I have seen many more, but it didn't give you the feel of it, which was what I wanted you, to see how big everything was, and to feel how small you are in comparison to these things that were built hundreds of years ago that are still standing. I just can't imagine what I'll feel like when I'm, walking in the places of kings and queens. I mean, it just looks so breathtaking to me, and so expansive. But things that you need to know if you're going to Egypt is that it is very warm most of the time. Whatever time that you're going, you need to go in the morning. You need to go on all of your tours, or as many as possible, in the morning. It is very, very crowded as the day goes on, and midday it's not good. So if you go on a tour, make sure it's in the morning. Also, a lot of the different temples don't allow photography, but you can take pictures if everybody else is taking pictures, if somebody has slid a guide a couple of bucks, a guard a couple of bucks. But with my luck, I would be the one that they'd be taking off or taking my camera, and then I wouldn't have any more pictures. So in Italy, I was looking at one of those chapels, and I wanted to sneak a picture, but the guard had just looked at somebody, so I didn't. But if you're going on, if you're going to Egypt, one of the best ways to see it is do a land and river cruise, where you would fly into Cairo, and then you go to Gaza, and then you would go down, and in Luxor, you'd get on a ship, a river cruiser, and then you would travel down to Aswan by river cruise, and then you do the rest by plane. You do some of the things down near Aswan, you go to Haidam, and then you fly back to Cairo. But that's a 9-day trip, and not including most of your meals, and not including air to get there. That's about $2,000. But you're getting a lot for $2,000. You're getting to go to all those different places, and you're getting to see so many of the things that we all want to see. So you can't just do Egypt in like an overnight. I mean, I know some of the I don't know, millennials who go to Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and they go for 4 days. And I said, 4 days while you're there, or just 4 days? He said, no, 4 days. We were only there about 2 days. It takes a day to get there and a day to get back. Live a little. I mean, it's just, yes, just to say, like the lady in Iceland said, just to take a picture. You can't just get a picture of something. You have to breathe it. And that was the other thing that the video did for me. It let me experience. I almost could smell the food that was cooking, and I saw the camaraderie of the people who were in the restaurants and the markets. I did notice that they also didn't show a lot of women, but if you noticed, I don't know whether you ladies noticed, it was very male driven. Everything was male driven, and because it's a Muslim country, they would do that. But I was like, but they finally showed a couple of ladies, which made me feel a little better. But sidebar, I keep doing sidebar, I can't help myself. But you definitely need to spend some time if you're going to Egypt. What countries are you interested in visiting in Africa?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't really have anything in mind.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is, I should go to Africa. They have a little fall gathering and stuff like that.
There's also a big crater in Tanzania, and they have many waterfalls that lead down into it, and they also have a helicopter that you can fly over it and see everything. I think you really like that.
It's so much.
That was my problem. I was looking and I was going, oh no, I got to remember to tell them this. I got to remember to tell them that. We got to. So I mean, I think I would do better if the folks who come to the center here would say, I would like to know information on BAM. I can come back and then talk about just that, and then not be, just, it costs $600 to fly to Iceland right now. Okay, but that $600 doesn't include your transfers and all the rest. There's other things. So just looking something up and finding out how much the airfare is very misleading. Once again, is why you need a travel advisor, because I can say, okay, you found your airline you want. Okay, did you get transfers to your hotel? Have you thought about what you want to do once you get there?
Hotel.
This is true. Which hotel? What kind of hotel do you like? It's my job to find out, do you want to do that camping thing, or do you want to be at a lodge where they have a swimming pool and people waiting on you? I pick that one sometimes. Yeah. But I mean, it depends. And it also depends on what you want to spend your money on. Do you want to spend your money on the accommodations or do you want to spend your money or your resources on the things that you want to do there? Or if money is of no object, we can make that happen. I will get you whatever it is that you want. But everybody has a budget, regardless of what their circumstances is. You can be a multi-million-dollar, but you still want to get what you pay for. And I want to make clients happy. And I want to have people be involved in the world and do places. Do all of you have your passports? All right. Remember, if you're going somewhere, they have to be valid 6 months after you leave. So you can't get stuck over there. Like it can't expire in a month. It's got to be 6 months. And if you know anybody who wants to travel with you who doesn't have a passport, it's taking about 3 months now. If you expedite it and pay an extra $100, you could probably get it in 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. But it does take some time. They're still backed up. Why? I don't know where they are. Wanted to tell you about travel insurance. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you're going on a trip, you need travel insurance. I don't care who you buy it from. You can buy it from the airline. You can buy it from a travel advisor. It can be part of your package. But don't go anywhere without travel insurance. You don't know what could happen. All right? You could be walking around fine, and then you end up, you got a pinch in your back or something. You have appendicitis. There goes your trip. You're on your trip. You get bit by a spider. Healthcare in some countries is not up to what we like for healthcare. So you've got to deal with some substandard care, and they're going to make you pay up front. Lots of countries make you pay up front. If you are injured somewhere and you have to be evacuated back to the U.S., travel insurance pays for that. Otherwise, you have to pay for that. If you read all those papers, it's $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, depending on where you go, is what kind of coverage you need. You need to make sure you're covered for things. If you lose your passport, some travel insurance take care of that. Even if it's just a short trip, you don't know what could happen. A hurricane can hit wherever you were going and wipe out everything. Your luggage is lost. You don't have travel. I mean, your luggage is good as long as you're on the plane. They lose it, they have to reimburse you for it. But if you're in the hotel and the hotel is kaput, you have nothing. Travel insurance is going to help you. All of them have 24-hour emergency numbers. So when you go on your trips and vacations, you take a picture of all your credit cards. Number one, you have an emergency credit card that you just use for travel, because that way you're not putting other charges on it throughout the year, so that when you do go on vacation somewhere, you have an emergency credit card. If you're going out of the country, make sure you tell your banks that you're leaving the country. Because I went to Vancouver and I neglected to do that because I said, oh, that's not too far. It's just in Canada, but Canada's another country. That was before I was a travel agent. So now I make sure to tell everybody that. Because I had $100 in the hotel I was sharing it. The room was $99, was my half of the bill. So I gave him my $100. And the next morning I was able to call and release so I could get money so I could pay for things. Because nobody carries travel checks anymore. But I learned my lesson, and I'm vowed to tell everybody about it. Also, lost luggage. If you're on an airline, they lost my luggage. Actually, it was delayed, and they said it was going to be back in 3 hours. It took a day and a half. But I went out and bought some things, and I presented them with my receipts in a timely fashion and all of that. And the receipts were for $150 because I had to buy a suit. I was on an island. I had no shoes. I had no beach things. I needed to dress for dinner. So, because I had on something that looked like this in Aruba. I would have been very warm. So I put my paperwork in. So the American Airlines sent me a thing. Oh, thank you very much, Ms. Thompson-Gibson. Here is your reimbursement for $75. So I just wrote them back and said, your $75 will be coming within 2 to 3 weeks. And I said, well, that's very nice, but I sent you a receipt for $150. What happened? 2 weeks later, I got a check for $150. So I don't know if that was a cost-cutting measure on their part, but read the fine print on everything. If somebody says provide receipts, and I don't know. I was in a very ritzy area of Aruba. I was down you know, where Neiman Marcus type stores and all the high designers. I went around a corner to a cheap place because I was afraid I wasn't going to get any of the money back. So what would have happened if I had gone to the, you know, the gift shop in the resort? The swimsuit would have been $100. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. If you've been all those places, the stuff is hot. But it's important for you to read the fine print and make sure that you have insurance on everything. And last, I want to invite you to invite me back again, and also to follow me on Facebook. Now, she's not on Facebook, but I am on Facebook. You can find me at Lyn115 Travel. I also do a travel talk every Thursday tonight, and I'll talk about the fact of us here. And I had 3 people listening to me, and I don't know how many people on the video later, but please follow me at Lyn115 Travel. Facebook, I am there every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. It is all of 10 minutes, but I give you travel tips. I tell you what's hot and what's not in travel. And my job is to elevate your travel experience, and that's what I try to do. So thank you very much. Are there any questions?
I'm not on Facebook either.